meeting. It is February 28th, 2023. We do not have any public hearings this evening, so we'll move on to the supervisor's report. First item is to call for a public hearing to add Chapter 75.1 to the Town of Mount Pleasant Code to prohibit the unlawful sale of cannabis and cannabis vaping equipment from prohibited retail dispensaries and or other retail establishments. Darius, did you want to elaborate on that?
Sure. Myself and the supervisor met with Police Chief Oliva last week, and as everyone knows, there was a law passed recently by the state where certain municipalities could either opt in or opt out of allowing the sale of cannabis through dispensaries in their municipalities. You voted to opt out to not allow the sales in the town. However, there have been some dispensaries, places where marijuana and cannabis are being sold and other products similar to that in violation of that law. So now we'll have to have a law that will be able to enforce that opt-out, and this is what that law proposes, that there'll be fines, confiscation of the cannabis and other products. So this will give teeth to that opting out provision. A lot of municipalities are doing this. I don't know if anyone's been watching the news. There is a lot of this happening in New York City. They're popping up everywhere illegally. I know the city of Syracuse recently passed a law also similar to this. So it's something for the board to consider and the public to consider to put some teeth into the existing opt-out provision.
Good, thank you.
You're welcome.
I think most of the board members have been contacted one time or another in regards to a shop in Thornwood that had opened up and closed, and the one in Hawthorne that opened up a couple times and closed a couple times. He is gone. He is no longer going to be in the one in Hawthorne either. So I think it affects a lot of people, especially for children. They worry about their children going to these places and not knowing exactly what they're buying, especially these fruit-flavored stuff and everything else. From what the chief had said, some of this vaping stuff is so powerful that a couple-second hit could really do some damage.
Wow.
So, I'm glad we're able to put some teeth into this local law. We can schedule it for March 14th, according to Emily. And I would need a resolution 10323 to adopt it, well, to accept that public hearing.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Motion by Lori,
Second.
second by Danielle. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item that I think most of us are familiar with, the whole community may not be aware of it. The governor has come up with a housing compact that basically takes away our zoning rights. They take away home rule. So the town is objecting to that. I met with the supervisors from all over the area today again. I think almost every supervisor from both sides of the aisle are against it. We are sending something today to Albany, to our legislators, to have them address this before it goes into the final budget, which we don't think it should be in the budget at all. But anyway, we're filing this resolution to make it clear that the town of Mount Pleasant does not agree with this. And the proposal reads as follows. Whereas Governor Hochul fiscal year 2024 executive budget included New York Housing Compact, and whereas the New York Housing Compact consists of the New Homes Targets and Fast Track Approval Act and the Transit Oriented Development Act of 23. And whereas the governor claims that the New Homes Targets and Fast Track Approval Act is necessary in order to forestall restrictive land use practices that inhibit and limit housing development. And whereas, as proposed, the New Homes Targets and Fast Track Approval Act amends general municipal law and overrides the town of Mount Pleasant land use regulations as adopted in the town's zoning code and consistent with the town's comprehensive plan. And whereas the New Homes Target Fast Track Approval Act requires the town to meet or exceed a residential dwelling growth target or an act by local law 2 of 5 preferred actions in order to be considered in safe harbor status. And whereas all of the town of Mount Pleasant services, police, volunteer emergency services, water, sewer, and the school community would be grossly impacted. And whereas all 5 preferred actions require extreme and substantial amendments to the town of Mount Pleasant's local zoning, including but not limited to no restrictions on minimum lot size, height limits, setbacks, parking, and no environmental review, planning board review, and aesthetic review. And whereas appeals can be brought to the new State Housing Review Board, usurping the home rule authority of local land use boards who understand the local community, and whereas the Transit Oriented Development Act of 23 would amend town law to adopt land use regulations within 3 years of higher density development for local areas located within 1/2 mile of any publicly accessible areas of the MTA Transit Station, grossly impacting the recently adopted town comprehensive plan and limited housing rezoning formulated over many years, which zoning was limited to the immediate commercial areas surrounding its 2 MTA stations at a much lower scale than the governor's proposes. And whereas the governor's plan would impact residentially zoned neighborhoods, single-family neighborhoods, which during the comprehensive plan process and hamlet rezoning process was specifically rejected by the public and the town board. Whereas the new amended town law would require the new zoning to be exempt from CEQA review, which would prohibit the study and evaluation of existing and proposed road network, impact on volunteer emergency services, impacts on police department staffing, ability of school districts to absorb new students, traffic impacts, sidewalk connectivity, and all standard evaluation criteria, and a general environmental impact statement. And whereas the new amended town law would prohibit municipalities from adopting reasonable and appropriate development regulations to ensure the development is compatible with the surrounding uses, such as lot coverage, open space, building height, setbacks, floor area ratios, or parking restrictions. And whereas the town of Mount Pleasant has a long history of and consistently demonstrating a commitment to provide a wide variety of housing choice, and whereas the town of Mount Pleasant local zoning code includes a wide variety of housing choices, and whereas the residents of the town of Mount Pleasant have had a voice and participated in land use decisions for decades, from the updating of the town's comprehensive plan and the recent hamlet rezoning, participating in public hearing and volunteering on town boards and committees. And whereas the residents of the town of Mount Pleasant will be disenfranchised from their local elected officials, local volunteer boards, and render all of the residents' input meaningless. And now therefore be resolved that the town of Mount Pleasant implores the legislature to remove the housing compact proposal from fiscal year 2024 budget and future budgets, and engage local governments in dialogue and address our common goals. And be it further resolved that the town of Mount Pleasant adamantly opposes the governor's housing compact and urges the state legislature to preserve and protect municipal home rule and local zoning powers. Be it further resolved that this resolution shall become effective immediately upon adoption. I wanted to do a roll call vote on this. Councilwoman Zano? Yes.
Yes. Sorry.
Councilman Shulman?
Yes.
Councilman Tom Siliano?
But yes, and thank you for doing this. It's so well written. I firmly believe what you just read, and I'm a definite yes. Thank you.
Councilwoman Smalley?
Yes.
And I vote yes. That's a unanimous decision by this town board. And Emily, you will be approving this and submitting this to New York State. Thank you all.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Darius, for your work on this.
You're welcome.
Moving on, some things maybe a little bit shorter than that previous one. Next item is purchase order 1622304. This is emergency window project. In evaluating the window project, there was one thing that was left out of it, which has to be dealt with, something to do with removal of the windows. So there's an extra fee involved. As you know, we bonded a lot of energy updates for the town of Mount Pleasant. The windows is one of the ones. The additional cost to the window removal comes out to $84,900.
Move for approval, please.
Motion by Jerry,
Second?
second by Danielle. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item, purchase order 1622305, annual boiler contract. The Miller Proctor Nichols is the company that's been handling this old boiler for many years, which we hope to replace within the next couple of years. Total cost for the annual contract is $5,970.
Move for approval, please.
Second, please.
Motion by Lori, second by Tom. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is purchase order number 1622306. This is flooring for the Recreation Department. If you have a chance to get downstairs and see the improvements that were made downstairs in the Recreation Department, it's really great what Doug and John and the rest of the group has worked on to clean up the downstairs. This is one last thing we have to do is the floor replacement in different areas. Cantor's Carpet and Home was the low bidder. Total cost is $3,342.50.
Move for approval, please.
Motion by Danielle,
Second?
second by Jerry. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item, every year we have unpaid water bills that have to be transferred to the tax roll. Unfortunately, it's quite an extensive list. All these items will be transferred to the tax bill of those particular homeowners. On Mill River Road, there's a total of $1,330.68. Pleasantville Road, $815.32. Pleasantville Extension, $506.19. Kensico Water District, which is a big one, $338,016.93. Bear Ridge Lake, $13,989.77. Old Farm Hill, $43,105.19. Apple Hill Farm, $269.87. And Pecanico, $1,896.08. Total that will be transferred to the tax roll for 2023 is $399,930.03.
Move for approval, please.
Motion by Lori,
Second?
second by Jerry. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Authorization to modify the lease agreement for the Justice Court. Request authorization to modify current copy of the lease with the Atlantic DeLarge. The current machine was down for an extended period and not conducive for volume needs for the department. Discussed with our sales rep and attaches a new recommended proposal. The current monthly cost is $135, and the new monthly cost will be $225 with a one-time fee of $99.
Move for approval, please.
Motion by Tom,
Second?
second by Danielle. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is authorization to enter into a stormwater management agreement with Columbus Plaza Associates. That's the new shopping center on Columbus Avenue. We do this with all developments where there's a stormwater maintenance requirement, where they have to make sure that they maintain it. This is according to the MS4 permits. So this stormwater maintenance access agreement will be with the Town of Mount Pleasant and Columbus Plaza Associates.
Move for approval?
Motion by Jerry,
Second.
second by Tom. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Authorization to release performance bond for Columbus Avenue, Waverly Place. Let's see, that's the wrong one, I'm sorry.
Yeah, this is for Columbus Avenue? Columbus Avenue, Thornwood, this
Yeah.
is, yeah.
Authorization to release performance bond for Columbus Avenue, Section 112.7.1.26. The amount of the bond was $92,770. Performance bond has been held by the Town of Mount Pleasant, and all necessary documents and approval have been satisfied. So this will authorize the town engineer and our controller to release this bond.
Move for approval, please.
Motion by Danielle,
Second.
second by Lori. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Now we have authorization for a street closing permit, Clinton Street between Columbus Avenue and Waverly Place, on Saturday, June 3rd, from 12 noon until 10 p.m. Rain date scheduled for Sunday, June 4th, at the same time. This is for a block party. This is for Megan Dougherty, 15 Clinton Street, in Valhalla.
Yes, I'll move for approval, please.
I was just waiting to see if there was an invite for the town board. I didn't see it.
It's my neighborhood, so I better approve it.
Motion by Lori,
I'll second.
second by Danielle. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next one is authorization to appoint Dominic E. Messera to the Architecture Review Board effective March 1st, 2023. Resolution 11323.
Move for approval, please.
Motion by Danielle,
Second?
second by Jerry. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is authorization to appoint Walter Hickey, P.E., to the Planning Board effective March 1st, 2023. Resolution 11423.
So moved.
Motion by Tom,
Second.
second by Lori. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Authorization to appoint Scott Travella, second, to the Zoning Board of Appeals effective March 1st, 2023.
Move for approval, please.
Motion by Lori,
Second?
second by Jerry. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries, and we want to thank these individuals for volunteering to be on these boards, but we also want to thank the ones who have served for so many years for the town of Mount Pleasant, and we really appreciate all the time that they have put in. Many of them have been serving, and their terms have expired a while back, but they continue to serve the town of Mount Pleasant, and we appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, we have Mr. Hickey here in the
Yes.
audience. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.
I have the receiver of taxes report. Which is a very boring report. We have it anyway. We have the town board minutes for January 10th and 24th. At this time, we have business from the floor. Anybody who wishes to address the board is welcome to do so at this time. Be there no speakers, I would suggest we move on to our town clerk's report.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Town Clerk's Agenda, February 28th, 2023, Town Board Meeting. Bid opening for various Highway Department materials. Received and filed the Mount Pleasant Public Library Board of Trustees meeting minutes, January 19th, 2023. Received and filed 2 planning board resolutions, a steep slope permit for 40 Sawmill River Road parking lot expansion, and site plan approval for the same project. Received and filed 3 zoning board resolutions for the JCCA 1075 Broadway Pleasantville, Franco Zeffi 138 Phillip Place Hawthorne, and Michael Parada 51 Old Farm Road South Pleasantville.
Thank you. Moving on to council reports. Councilman Soliano.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My report is the Controller's Memo. The following claims are submitted for Town Board approval. GF accounts receivable, Capital Industries, the amount is $16,000. Justice Court, Carl R. Anderson, Precise Translators, LLC, the amount is $5,405. Attorney, Bonshonick and King, PLLC, Harris Beach, PLLC, the total is $5,237.50. From Central Data Processing, Tyler Technologies Incorporated, $8,411.89. The next category, Special Consulting Services, Sustainable Westchester, $1,000. From Off-Street Parking, New York Department of Transportation, the amount is $2,690. Recreation Center, Easton Heating and Cooling, $3,210. From Youth Programs, Garg Rentals, LLC, I think I mispronounced it.
Gaga Rentals.
It's interesting, thank you. 2,176. From Capital Building Improvement, Clean Air Quality Service Incorporated, $8,751.60. From RJG Electrical Contractors Incorporated, LLC, $13,060.28. From Capital Kensico Road, Amazon Capital SVC, the total is $195.96. And from Recreation Capital Projects, Charles A. Magnanaro, $12,293.75. Again, from Kensico Capital Projects, Charles A. Magnanaro, the total is $31,817.50. The next category, Special Drainage District, Chemung Supply Corporation, $1,575.85. From Mount Pleasant Consolidated Sewer District, Ring N Incorporated, $891. I think I skipped one. Special Drainage District, Chemung Supply again, $1,575.85. Joint Water District Fund, Rings N Incorporated, $1,336.50. And from Mechanical Water District Number 1, Coin Chemical Company, $1,792.90. From Kensico Water, Dennis Adams Contractor Incorporated, and Zurich American Insurance Company, $4,215. And the grand total, ladies and gentlemen, is $111,309.13. It's signed Brian Keneally. He's comptroller. I respectfully ask the board for a motion of approval for these expenditures.
Motion by Tom,
Second.
second by Jerry. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you so much. We have an amendment. The second item, again, from the Controller's Office, from Mr. Keneally. He's our Controller. It's authorization to amend the 2022 year-end budget He's requesting authorization for the year end 2022, as well as any additional lines which become overexpended as a result of audit entries or required year-end accruals. The attached schedule will detail the requested changes to specific lines. The town board will receive copies of the final audited numbers. I ask the board for approval to authorization to amend the 2022 year-end budget.
Motion by Tom,
Second.
second by Lori. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Hey, thank you. Have a great evening. Be safe out there. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Councilwoman Zaino.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Good evening, fellow board members and residents of Mount Pleasant. I have 2 items this evening from our police department. First is purchase order 30-23-09. This is Answer Point Transfer Communications. This is authorization to transfer dispatch answering points into the temporary trailer due to construction and return same to refurbished communication area once complete. The vendor is NWN Carousel. Total cost is $3,250. Move for approval, please.
Motion by Danielle,
Second.
second by Jerry. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
My second item is purchase order 30-23-10. This is a purchase order for 2 servers for our police department. Vendor is Amazon Capital Services. Total cost is $3,998. Move for approval, please.
Motion by Danielle,
Second.
second by Lori. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
And I just have a couple of announcements from our police chief, sort of to expound on what we discussed earlier regarding the vape shops. He wanted me to let everybody know that the clerk at the convenience store in Hawthorne was arrested for sale of vapes and marijuana. As the supervisor mentioned earlier, we did opt out as a municipality, and our police chief would like everyone to know that they will continue to enforce these regulations for the good of the community, especially our children. Second, he wanted me to advise residents of the danger of lithium-ion batteries. There's a danger of fire, especially with substandard replacement batteries. If a battery fails and catches fire, the smoke is toxic and the fire is intense. You will find these batteries in cordless appliances, toys, electric bikes, and vehicles. If a battery on a new item is fully charged, they recommend that you unplug it and keep it away from surfaces and areas that could ignite quickly. And our third announcement, which is a great announcement, he wanted me to let everybody know that last night our PD responded to a medical emergency. A woman in town had gone into cardiac arrest. Our police department were the first on the scene, quickly administered CPR, and used the external defibrillator to revive her. Medics then arrived on site, continued save-in measures, and between our PD and our EMTs, this woman is going to be okay. So, kudos to both departments.
Definitely. Thank you.
It's
Councilman Shulman.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor, fellow board members, and Mount Pleasant residents. Good evening. I have several resolutions or items this evening to read. So I'm going to start with the authorization to hire, and this is from, John Petroselli, our Parks and Recreation man, and this is the authorization to hire seasonal parks groundkeeper and park attendants, rangers, at defined pay scale for the 2023 season. Again, this is authorization to hire up to 10 seasonal parks groundkeepers and parks attendants as per the following pay scale. New hires, minimum 18 years with valid driver's license, $16 an hour. Returning employees, $16 an hour plus 50 cents for each prior year of service. And 16 or 17-year-olds, non-drivers, $15 per hour. Move for approval, please.
Motion by Jerry,
Second.
second by Tom. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Second item is from Danielle Fairweather, our senior recreation leader. It's purchase order 70-23-22. This is our Teenscape trip to a Mets game. We are purchasing 150 tickets at $30 a ticket.
Wow.
Total cost $4,500. Move for approval, please.
Motion by Jerry,
Second?
second by Danielle. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Sounds
No
good.
Yankee ticket.
No,
huh?
I was gonna say,
Jerry,
I move quickly.
can I go to that game, Jerry? How are the tickets?
You want to put a busload of teenagers? Go ahead.
The next item is, again, also from Danielle Fairweather, our senior recreation leader. This is purchase order 70-23-23. This is an adult Broadway trip. Vendor is Group Sales Box Office. This is 100 tickets at $79 per ticket. And that would be a total of $7,900, and I don't see the play, but I'm sure it's going to be a good one. Move for approval, please.
Motion by Jerry.
Second?
I think Lori got it. Second by Lori. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, my next item is from Parks and Recreation, John Petroselli. This is purchase order 70-23-24. This is the Brad Hurst Community Center cleaning. The vendor is Good Deal Cleaning LLC, and this is an authorization to extend the cleaning agreement for 1 year. Agreement will be from 4/1/23 to 3/31/24. All the increases in service fees fall under the current New York CPI index. The monthly cost changes from $575 to $615.25. Total cost of $7,383. Move for approval, please.
Motion by Jerry,
Second.
second by Tom. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
All right, the next item is from Danielle Fairweather, our senior recreation leader. Purchase order 70-23-25. This is Ladies Night Out.
Where are they going?
Then I go to the
Solving
Mets
a murder
game.
mystery, apparently.
Yes, a murder mystery.
It's not the Mets game, though.
Don't know where they're going, no. It's the, vendor is the Acme Mystery Company, and Ladies Night Out murder mystery event. 100 people at $20 per person for $2,000, and 100 people at $8 per person for $800. So here, the note is after 100 participants, the company gives a discount of $8 per person. So the total cost for 200 participants is $2,800. Move for approval, please.
Motion by Jerry,
Second?
second by Danielle. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
My final item this evening is from John Petroselli again. It's purchase order 70-23-26. This is the bathhouse roof replacement. The vendor is East Coast Roofing, and it's removing the existing shingle roof and replacing all damaged sheathing and plywood. Total cost $22,000. Move for approval, please.
Motion by Jerry,
Second?
second by Lori. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. That's the original roof, I believe.
I believe it is. I also have an announcement here from Doug Scott, our supervisor of recreation. We have the recreation brochure will be released online and sent via out e-blast system on Thursday, March 2nd. Limited amounts of hard copies will be printed and placed at Town Hall and the Community Center starting Friday, March 10th. All registration days begin at 10 a.m. And here they are. General program registration begins Tuesday, March 14th. Summer camp registration begins Tuesday, March 28th. Pool registration begins Tuesday, April 11th. Again, all registration days begin at 10 a.m. And that's from Doug Scott.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Smalley, I don't see anything.
No, I don't have anything this evening, Mr. Supervisor, but I do want to give a thank you to Rich Benquit and Foreman Mike Reck and the crews of our Highway Department for the very good job they did today and last evening in regard to snow removal and keeping our roads as clean and dry and safe as possible. They work very hard and we're very appreciative. Thank you.
Definitely. Thank you. Moving on to our town attorney, I believe, Darius, you have a tax certiorari settlement?
Yeah, we have one matter on, it's the T. and Charles Adams Foundation versus Town of Mount Pleasant. A little different than just a straight tax cert claim. This is an interesting matter where the T. and Charles Adams Foundation is from the Adams family, the TV show, movies, Broadway's play, etc., where they own a house here in Mount Pleasant on Hardscrabble Road, 325 Hardscrabble Road in Briarcliff, and they use it as their location to store their artwork. They also use it as a home for their caretaker / superintendent who runs the artwork where it needs to go for various museum displays, etc. So our assessor determined that they should be taxable fully, and there was a challenge based on that. We entered into an agreement with them, subject to your approval of the town board, approved by Mr. Timmons, our assessor, that they would be 35% taxable and be 65% tax exempt. This is actually good news. They had a property out in Southampton, I believe, that was 100% tax exempt, excuse me. So were able to negotiate a settlement going forward that they would pay taxes to some extent to the town, school district, etc., and no tax rebate or refund going backwards. So it was a good settlement. We do recommend it from the town attorney's office and also from the town assessor's office.
Yeah, I know it's something you've been working on for quite a long time. Do we have some numbers?
No money refunded.
No money.
No money refunded at all.
Or just to changing the,
Exemption status from
Okay.
not fully exempt, but 65% exempt.
even better.
Yep.
Okay, Resolution 12723 will authorize approval of the tax certiorari settlement.
Move for approval, please.
Motion by Lori.
Second.
Tom got me, I think.
You think so?
Doesn't matter.
I shoot it out? Second by Tom. All in favor?
Hey,
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Slow tonight.
Thank you, guys.
You're welcome.
Yes, thank you.
thank you.
Our scheduled meetings, we have, our next work session will be March 7th at 7 PM. Our business session will be March 14th at 7 PM. And if there be no further business, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by Tom,
Second?
second by Jerry. Tom and Jerry. Meeting adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you very much.